guys, I'm Terry, and that's Nick, and we are ready to break down the series that I know Nick is excited to talk about. Um, the New York Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes in this one. And we'll start with, I'll start with Nick, because that's how we've been rotating, but um, how can the New York Islanders win this series?
This is probably the most obvious answer of probably all the ones I'll give. Goaltending. Ilya Sorokin, I think, is the better goaltender in this series, and uh, probably one of the best goaltenders in the playoffs right now, other than maybe Vasilevsky. Um, and just the Islanders should play good defensive hockey, get good goaltending from Sorokin, and that's how they're able to win this series. So I think this series is going to be closer than people expect it to be for a division winner versus a wild card team. And we've seen this before from this New York Islanders team. The way that the style of hockey that they play, they're meant to just win a wild card. And then once they get into the playoffs, make some noise. They did that in the bubble playoffs. They did that in the 2021 playoffs because the 2021 playoffs, they were the 4th seed out of the East. So this was a team that they don't care that they're a 4th seed as long as they're in. This is a team that can make some noise when it comes to that. So definitely goaltending and defense. They play playoff style hockey. So just play that playoff style hockey and they can come out on top of this series. Plus, Carolina heading into this is not playing the greatest of hockey right now. They're struggling to score a little bit without Svechnikov in the lineup. And when it comes to their goaltending, big question marks with Ranta, with Anderson, and with Kochekov. Whoever's going to start, definitely a goaltender I don't particularly trust laying $2 in the series in 7 games.
All right. Now, Tim says Isles money line game 1, so I'm going to take a guess here. I'm going to take a wild guess that maybe Tim and Nick are going to game 1. I'm just going to take a
Yeah, we're going to be ordering
maybe
the tickets.
It's game 1.
We're going to be ordering the tickets once the show is done. Yeah, we'll be there.
There you go. I kind of figured.
I'm excited.
And hey, if you've watched my show in the past, you know I can be hard on the Islanders team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've watched my show recently, you know my feelings about the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is where they meet. These two teams meet. And as I said on my show, the Carolina Hurricanes, when Max Pacioretty got hurt, they had every opportunity at the trade deadline to go and make a trade and get another forward. They have the cap space with Pacioretty injured, but they chose not to. They chose to sit on their hands. A Stanley Cup competing team, a team that's competing for the cup, and they just decided to stand pat. And then Svechnikov gets hurt. So now they're without Pacioretty and Svechnikov, 2 big offensive pieces in this playoffs. And I know I just talked a whole bunch about Carolina, but that is a reason why I think the Islanders can win. I think this Carolina team is just, I think they're overpriced in this series. And while they are a very good team still, it's not like they've completely fallen apart. But I think when it comes to playing a defensive style game, this Islanders team knows how to do it. I think they know how to do it a bit better than Carolina. I think this is going to be a close series. I think you're going to be able to cash draws in this series. I kind of disagree with Richie about the overs. I think we're going to see 2-1 and 3-2 games, but I'm definitely not a totals master. So I'm going to see how the playoffs go, but I'm going to have draws between these two teams. And I think the Islanders win this series by playing Islanders hockey. I think that's how.
Yeah, by the way, looking at overs in the series, we may see 5s in this series. We legitimately may see 5s because 5.5 under is minus 128.
Tim should put on the Canes jersey. Put on the Canes jersey when you guys go. Islanders just happen to be there.
Are they? This is a team that made the playoffs a couple years in a row.
Canes run and gun. Under if it's Isles hockey. Yeah, so we'll have to see who dictates the pace between the teams ultimately. Going to how can Carolina win this series? Carolina can win this series by, Tim said it in the other show, outscoring the Islanders. If they score more
Yes,
goals than the Islanders, they will obviously win the series. But I mean it literally offensively. If they can play a better offensive game, home ice is going to be big for them. If they can win a game or two in New York, the Hurricanes are favorited, big favorites in this one. Obviously, they get home ice advantage here, and they just win the series um, by, I think, outplaying the Islanders offensively. Nick, how can the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Islanders?
pretty simple. Number one, they are the better overall team. I will not argue against that. They talent wise, they are the better team. Here's the thing though, the way we look at them, they're really a regular season team. They're really not a team built to make runs in the postseason. We saw that last year. And here's an interesting a little bit of advice here for the Carolina Hurricanes if you want to win this series. Win a freaking road game. They went what 0-7 last year on road games. They couldn't win a single game away from PNC Arena during the postseason. So this is a team that I'm not going to trust to win a game on the road. So they're going to have to win every home game they play, unless that series is entirely in the Islanders' hand. If they steal game one in PNC, they steal game two in PNC. That's big trouble for the Hurricanes because it's a team that, until proven otherwise, they can't win playoff games on the road. So here's the key for them: win a road playoff game.
All right. And yes, you're going to hear the same thing about other teams, because it is winning a road playoff game is, they say you're not in trouble until you're down at home.
Yep. A series does not start until you win a road until the road team wins. I said that last year specifically for that Lightning Rangers series, where the Lightning came back after losing the first two in New York. So that's the thing. Yeah, the series does not start until the road team wins, unless you're the favorite.
Playoff style hockey coming up. I'm so excited. Playoffs are starting tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Yes.
That's why we had to do these shows. But series predictions. What do we think is ultimately going to happen? And I think this is going to be a close series throughout. Like I said, I'm going to be betting a lot of draws. Um, could Game 7 go to overtime? Very possible. I think Game 7 might be the one that doesn't go to overtime. My gut feeling says that someone wins this series 3-1 in Game 7. Um, and I think the Islanders do it. I think the Islanders get the win here. I'm just not high on this Carolina team. I think they made a huge mistake. I know I harp on it, but I think it's a huge mistake, and I think it will lead to them losing this playoff series. And I think if they had gone out and get another goal scorer, then they could potentially have won.
Puliarvi does not count.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like you have, yeah, they had a ton of cap space with Pacioretty's injury, and they didn't bother using any of it. So Islanders are getting Barzell back.
Yes.
That does not help the Carolina Hurricanes whatsoever. I just don't think it's a good. I think they're overpriced, and I think Islanders upset. And people know my feelings about the Islanders. So, in fact, and for people that don't know, I call them old and slow all the time because they are a slower, older team. But I'm taking them. I'm taking them here to win the series. Nick, what do you think about this series? How does it end?
I would look at the prop plus 210 for this game for this series to go 7 games. I definitely do not mind that. 4-3 Islanders at plus 650. I don't mind that either. Islanders plus 1.5 games at minus 130. I don't mind that either. I bet the Islanders plus 170. Call me a homer. I don't give a flying. It's just I like the core the Islanders have. And getting Matthew Barzal back and Carolina missing Svechnikov. I mean, that's just two things going against one and with the other. I've already bet plus 170, and I homer alert on this one. If I wouldn't be able to live with myself if they went on to make a run and I didn't bet these. All right, so this is strictly so I don't have regrets. 22-1 to win the East, 40-1 to win the Cup. Sue me, I don't care. Islanders conference and cup futures. If I didn't bet those and they went on to win the whole thing, I would be pissed at myself. So I sprinkled both those as well. They're part of my 5 teams I have conference and cup futures with.
All right. Well, I can announce to everybody that I do not have those bets. I'm sorry, but I will take the Islanders here in this series. But that is it. Well, no, I don't want to say that's it because I'm not. I know a lot of people are doing their
Brackets.
a lot of people love to do brackets. For me, it's series by series.
Yep.
What happens in the first series, we have no idea ultimately what's going to happen, who's going to get injured, what goalie is going to stand on his head. Like a lot can happen. And I don't want to go on and on and on, but things can happen. And second series, my whole thought on a team might change based on the first series. So I'm taking the Islanders. Nick is taking the Islanders, and we'll see if we're both on the dog here, and we'll see what happens. But we will see you again in another series coming up in a couple minutes.
Yes,
See you guys.
it is the Devils and the Rangers.
That's a good one. See you guys soon.